everyone. Welcome to At Home with Sally. I'm Sally Clarkson, and I have the biggest privilege in the world to be with so many friends from all over the world who join me every week to listen to my stories, inspiration, biblical encouragement, and I am just so glad that you're here today. Thanks so much for joining me. Hi, my friends. Happy Tea Time Tuesday. It's so much fun. This is Sally Clarkson. I absolutely adore being able to do these Tea Time Tuesdays because it makes me think about music and movies and what I'm eating and everything. But today will be especially fun because I have with me two of my favorite people in the world. Now you have to guess who that is. No, you don't have to. It's my son, Nathan Clarkson, and my amazing daughter-in-law, Keelia Clarkson. Welcome to my show today.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I really didn't have them. They had me last week. They were coming. Well, tell about how you come here to get away from New York. They don't have that much going. Tell them why you're in New York and why you're here.
Well, we love living in New York. And if anyone has lived in New York or a big city, you know that it's fun. It's full of people and exciting things and energy and shows and art and possibilities. But the only thing is sometimes it gets a little crowded and a little overwhelming. You know, when you hear people walking outside, we live right on the first floor in this apartment building with a ton of, that has a lot of artists and students. And so all day long, we hear people coming in and out. And for some reason, when you get a lot of young people who like art, they love singing at the top of their lungs. So, you know, at 3 a.m., we are often woken up by renditions of Puccini's Third Movement or something. The very first week we lived there, we would listen outside of our window, and there's this classical violinist. And the first day, she was playing Bach, and it was amazing. It was beautiful. We just sat there and listened to this amazing violinist who was practicing up in their room. And by the second day, we just wanted silence. Yeah. But we love New York. We love living there. It's so much fun. But we also live in a teeny tiny little shoebox. Yes. And to exist there and survive there, we have to get out of there. Mm-hmm. And so we're so lucky to be able to come to Colorado. We come here every summer. We spend the summers here with wide open spaces and lots of nature. So if you watch my Instagram stories, you'll just see a lot of pictures of mountains and trees and quiet.
And dogs.
And Darcy Dog.
You come here to see Darcy Dog too. Well, that's so much fun, and it is such a contrast when you live in these places that are different than where you live. I come home here, I think that my bed is the size of a boat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What do you notice the difference between New York and here, or what are some of your favorite parts about coming home?
Well, I think the biggest difference I notice is that I can just be here and be on one of your porches and not see a soul and not hear anybody and just kind of exist in my own world for a little bit.
Well, the funny thing is all three of us are writers, and we loved. I'm telling you what, I have had so much fun. I've missed you all so much, and we sit on the porch or the deck. And mainly we eat. Mm-hmm. And then second, mainly we talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
And talk about what we're going to eat.
And talk about, when the next meal is. Yeah. But I don't think I realized how much I needed, this is going to sound really crazy, but spiritual encouragement and emotional encouragement. And just being here, I have just had my soul filled. I needed to be with Keelia and Nathan. They're always reading, always thinking. We have great talks, but I needed somebody else to build into me. And so it has been a blast. I do love the wide open spaces too. I live in a much smaller place overseas. And so all of us share in the fact that we can be here in these big places.
Well, we're so lucky to have a big, beautiful home here to come home to and just experience quiet, and then go back out and do our ministry and our things and our dreams, but then come home and rest. I think that's really biblical and just so necessary for humans.
Well, and Keelia and I were laughing about this earlier today. Everybody hopefully listened to my podcast yesterday. And
I sure did. I woke up and said, I'm going to listen to my mom's podcast.
But yesterday's podcast, as Keelia knows, Keelia is my wonderful social media assistant as well as Nathan. But anyway, actually it came out today, but it was about, do you ever despair? Do you ever feel like your life is meaningless? And of course, when I said that to you all, you said, what'd you do? You laughed.
Oh, yeah.
We did.
Well, I find it's everyone right now, especially after these past really difficult 2.5 years. I think a lot of people are going, do I matter? Does my life matter? Does anything I do matter?
Yeah, and jobs are scarcer, and money is scarcer. And but then I think that we talked a lot yesterday about I didn't even know how much I needed friendship and fun. And so we have had way too much fun, and now we're having to work.
Is fun biblical? I really hope it is. I'm going to go on a hunt through Scripture to find out if fun is biblical. I really hope it is. I think it is, but I really hoping it is.
Oh, I think it definitely is. All right. Well, on Tea Time Tuesdays, I do talk about tea because, as you know, of course, besides the fact that I'm writing a book about it, but I really look back and I feel like it's that intentional time that makes you stop during the day. And our teas have evolved into beyond tea into coffee.
Coffee.
Just caffeine in any form. In any warm liquid form is really a thing we're into.
We are warm liquid form. And I pointed at Keelia because this is another thing I didn't know I needed. You know, you give and give and give and give. And ever since I've been here, Keelia has made every meal, and every morning she brings coffee to us. Every afternoon she brings coffee to us. And except I have tea in the afternoons when they're having coffee. And anyway, why do we all believe in this time that you stop with a cup of caffeine in your hand? What has it meant to you in your lifetime?
Well, one thing I thought about the other day as we were sitting on the porch with our warm drinks each, was that when you have a warm drink, one, you can't gulp it. You have to take sips. And when you take sips of something, you have this, it's almost like a little timer. So when you are drinking something, you can't run around with something hot in your hands and you can't gulp it. So it forces you to sit still for just a little bit. And it forces you to just spend a bit of time in the stillness and sip and sip and sip as it goes down. So it makes time in busy, chaotic lives for you to stop, stand still, and interact with the ones or the world around you.
That's really true. That's really true. So what is your favorite kind of coffee?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite kind of coffee. I think if I'm being really fancy, I really always love Lavazza, but we've been really impressed actually with Maxwell. It's just like a normal brand, but
and it's much better for our wallets too.
Yeah, it's much better for your wallet.
It's not very expensive at all, but I've just been really impressed with it.
Mm-hmm. I actually have too. It tastes very strong. You know, I have to have everything strong because I think I've lost my taste
and one
buds.
of our early marriage fights is iced coffee or hot coffee better? So,
well, yes, I am an iced coffee person at heart, but it's just so much more expensive. So
is it really?
Yeah.
So those little cubes of ice require more expense?
Well, because you have to buy the ice. I guess we could learn to make it. So one of these days we should probably learn to brew our own iced coffee.
It's a little bit difficult, and you have to like buy all these, different pieces and then you have to replace that. So it is just a little bit more work.
The cold brew, but it is really good.
Oh,
it's really good.
I've come around. I really do enjoy cold brew coffee now.
Yeah.
I enjoy, as you know, everything strong.
Yes,
and then I'll be
strong.
okay. All right. Well, I can't wait to get to some of these topics that we've already been talking about on the porch. But you know that every week when I do Tea Time Tuesday, I tell you about recipes or things I've been eating. And Keelia has done a couple of things this week that is so much fun for me, and especially because she's doing it and I don't have to do it. That every morning that I have awakened, I'm so glad that you love to cook. I love to cook too, in theory. But I just, I think that I've done, maybe 989,000 meals in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. And now it's just been so fun to have you cook. But so tell us what you do in the mornings. And what did you call these yesterday?
Well, we call these, so again, remember, we are poor, starving artists living in a shoebox in New York. So we have to kind of make some excitement out of our days. And mostly by that, I mean our meals. And so one of the things that literally gets us out of bed in the morning is we realize that eating breakfast out every day is going to cost a lot. So we said, and I know this is a little low class for some of you out there, but I love Egg McMuffins. Mm-hmm. But you can't even getting a cheap Egg McMuffin every day. It costs so much money. So we decided we're going to make our own Egg McMuffin, and we call it the McClarkson.
The McClarkson. But it does have your own unique brand upon it.
Well, so I like it better now.
I know, and it's healthier, and it's cheaper.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us what you do, Keelia, because I've really enjoyed every day. I get my coffee, First I have a cup of tea, as you know, and then I have a cup of coffee because they wake up later than me. And, and because I'm on jet lag still. And then Keelia makes this.
Well, so we use these whole wheat English muffins, and I get them nice and toasty, and I put a little slice of cheese on one side.
And buttery.
And butter.
Don't forget buttery.
Well, I butter the other side once it's out of the oven. But I put it in the oven for about, 5 minutes or so. And then
and it melts the cheese.
Yeah, it gets it all nice and melty and just perfectly toasty. And then I fry up a couple of eggs. I do over easy or over medium. And I slice up some tomato, and I also put on some turkey bacon.
The turkey bacon is so low calorie.
By the way, this is healthy. We got whole grain, we got turkey bacon, we have our tomato.
So I just put all of that together. I put some salt and pepper, and it's just the most incredible thing I think I've ever had every single morning.
Yeah. It literally gets me out of bed.
I know. Yeah. Well, at night, even the night before, you all were saying, I can't wait till tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Sleep is just a vehicle to our Mick Clarkson.
Well, our next experiment will be trying to emulate in a healthy and homemade way the hash browns
from
McDonald's. So we're going to figure out how to do that maybe with, I don't know, they have whole wheat potatoes?
You can see that I never ceased to have giggles when I was raising my son, Nathan. Okay, so the next thing I want you to tell about, because this was so easy and it was so good the other night, was the wrap.
Yeah. Well, so
you can do, as you called it, rotisserie chicken wrap if you want.
Oh, yeah. You can do all of it.
So we were at home in New York, and we were kind of running low on groceries, and we thought, what do we even have? What can we put together with what we have? I really didn't want to run to the store, and it was getting close to dinner time.
We were also running low on energy.
Yes, we had no energy.
Can I just tell you this? When they're saying their apartment is small, I walked in and tried really hard not to gasp.
Go to your kitchen cabinet, look inside, and then say, could 2 people live here? And then say, yes, Nathan and Keelia do. So.
I know. Well, I mean, it really is small. So when you say, what's in our fridge? Your fridge is about as big as my computer.
Although it has its own conveniences, because from the couch, we can reach our refrigerator. So
it's not quite that small.
Oh, that's really fun. Okay, so Keelia, tell us about these wraps, because we had them last week.
Yes.
And I will actually cook tonight, per your suggestion, but I've been enjoying you cooking.
Well, so I got these big burrito-sized tortillas, and I put a little bit of cheese on it.
As you can tell, we're really into melting cheese
like
on
cheese.
things. Whole grain cheese, don't worry.
And I put a little bit of rotisserie chicken. I just kind of shred up a little bit of meat, put that in the oven, get it nice and melty. And while that's melting, I slice up some tomatoes again.
Yeah, there's kind of a theme.
Love tomatoes. And then I get some shredded lettuce. And then once everything is melted, I top it with some tomato. Oh yeah, and then onions. That was a recent addition. We decided we could go with one more texture on this.
We're poor, but we can afford an onion every now and again.
We wanted one more texture. So I put some sliced tomatoes and onions and some shredded lettuce up on top. And then we dress it with just a little bit of balsamic vinaigrette.
That was so good. And you've also done this sometimes if you just have the sandwich turkey meat.
Yeah, you can do any kind of thing, but this is it's tasty, it's healthy, it's fresh, and it's also super easy. No pots and pans.
It's just really easy.
It filled us up, and also we didn't have to heat up the kitchen. I think it was the 95-degree day last week. We have no air conditionings here.
No cleanup.
Yeah, so it was really great. All right, so that was my food for the week. Now, this one is kind of a both and. It's a movie/show. And it's music. And I'm telling you, this music is some of the best music I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
So tell us, actually, it's been so much fun because all of us do take Darcy over across our highway. We say it's the I-25, and we go to Mount Herman, which has this incredible little lake, and it's just gorgeous right now. We take Darcy and we go on walks. Mm-hmm. So we were going over there yesterday, and again Nathan played me this song that I love, and then we thought we should tell people about this. So go into the whole story, and even you have a friend that takes you to this Broadway show.
Well, one of the benefits of living in New York, even in a shoebox, is that we get to be near some amazing art. We have the museums, we have the opera house right there, and obviously one of the best things to do in New York is to go to a Broadway. And so there's this Broadway that our family friend who lives right up the street from us and takes care of us in New York, Lou, he takes us to Broadway's, and one of his very favorites he wanted to show us is a show that's going off of Broadway. I think
so
in October.
Sad.
I know, me too.
I might just take a trip just to go to this.
But it sounds, by the sound of the description, it'd be like, oh, that sounds cute. It's about, a high school boy and some drama and, family and that kind of thing. But when you actually go to the play or listen to the music, and there's a movie now too, it's called Dear Evan Hansen, and it's just absolutely soul-buildingly beautiful.
Yeah.
It so much is, and I think it kind of goes to our theme yesterday, because actually, I'm going to tell you one little thing real quick. We've been watching a series that I can't tell you what the name of it is because I don't want to. But it has some realistic, you realize that there are so many people in the world who don't have family, friends, this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. And this movie really gets to what many of us feel.
Yeah.
But the music, okay, so keep going. So it's Dear, D-E-A-R, Evan Hansen.
Yeah, and it's about an awkward high school boy who, to fit in and be popular and just to feel loved because he has this lack of love and connection in his life, he tells a lie. And the lie snowballs and snowballs and snowballs. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but ultimately it's this beautiful exploration of all of us, of what we're scared to show the inside of ourselves to people, because would we be loved? But we still have this deep driving desire to be accepted and seen, and have intimacy and connection and friendships and community. And it just really displays that so beautifully. And the music it goes from everything from charming all the way to just heartbreaking. Yeah. And it's, rarely have I seen something so deeply effective. And the performer we saw was so great. I can't remember their name, but it was really just so beautiful. I haven't seen something this powerful to me since I saw Les Miserables on Broadway. So it's just really, and so it's so much fun to sit here in our car, because we don't get to do this in New York. We can't sing out loud in our apartments.
They don't have cars.
Yeah. If we sing out loud in our apartments, we'll get bangs on the wall. Yeah. And if we sing out loud in the streets, we'll get the cops called on us. So it's so much fun to put it on in the car and sing at the top of our lungs.
Oh, I know. It was so beautiful. But what was the song that you were playing yesterday as we were going over there?
You Are Not Alone.
You Are Not Alone. And I think it's so important for us to acknowledge that we are in a broken world. We are believers. We are still surrounded by some of the despair of other people. But I think this show reminded me, too, of how fortunate I am. Yeah. Because he was this great, very creative kid that had a little bit of mental illness, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, deals with mental illness. So obviously I'm going to connect to that.
Yeah. And me too. And then had a father who left him, a mom who worked all the time. And I realized that I just want to keep looking at the lives and hearts of other people, loving them in their context and reaching out to them. Because we were talking today about how rare it is for somebody to invite us, ask us a question, and then I think
serve love.
Serve love. And we're so blessed. I mean, we have each other. But there are many people who are lonely, and we've been lonely many times from all of our moves. So I just think it's amazing. But for me, I love music. You all may not know how much I love music, or that our family has performed, produced, recorded music all of our lives. And it's one of the best produced songs. I mean, arranged songs.
Oh, yeah.
Voice. It's just heart touching. So be sure to look it up.
Soundtrack.
Check out the soundtrack. And you can do that, of course, any of your places. Okay, so that's movie and Broadway show. So another thing that I talked about yesterday, it seems like a lot of people were identifying with feeling, despair sometimes. And so one of the things that our whole family has done our whole lives is that we understand that we are responsible for cultivating some joy and fun and goodness in our lives so that we can continue to try to keep our spirits as filled as possible. And it delights me to see that you all are doing this one thing every Wednesday. So both of you can give perspective if you want or whatever, but I would love for you to tell me about what you do on Wednesdays.
Well, yes. Why don't you tell the first half and I'll tell the second? Well, say this. What we do when we eat.
I'm just the food girl today.
There you are. And you're about as tiny as a little, you don't look like you've ever eaten too much in your life.
But it was during the pandemic. There wasn't a lot to do. So we started this tradition. If you can't go anywhere, you can't go into restaurants, you can't do things. And so, we started getting antsy inside and going, what in the world are we going to do today? I guess
another day.
Sit and look at each other again.
And smile.
So we started a tradition of on Wednesdays we do Adventure Day.
Yeah.
And it can be everything as simple from going on a hike to going to a museum, to going for a drive in the mountains, listening to music. And when we're in New York, that we went to the Met a while ago, or we walked to the river, or we try a new restaurant. Or if nothing's open, you just take a beautiful walk in nature and take pictures or do a photo shoot with someone you love. And it's just a really fun thing. And it's kind of this midweek time in which you're feeling low on energy. You need some inspiration. And so Adventure Day is something that we take deeply to heart. It's really, really fun every Wednesday.
Well, and we've done things like this our whole lives. I always have Saturday morning breakfast out and my walk downtown.
Yes.
And,
I forgot. You have to eat. You have to go out and get
That's right.
part of Adventure Day is going out to breakfast.
Well, step one.
Getting good coffee.
Tell step one.
Step one. Well, so whenever we're here in Colorado, we have a specific coffee shop we like to go to. And we get
Loyal Coffee, if you're here. It's the best.
It is the best. It's definitely the best coffee I've ever had at a coffee shop. I have so many times just been to a coffee shop and been like, I don't think this is very good coffee.
We're a little bit snobby when it
We are
comes to
very
caffeine.
I said last week that I never liked tea anywhere else except home because no one made it.
No one makes it as good as you.
Right. No, but this is incredible coffee. And then we get the best breakfast sandwich I think I've ever had from a coffee shop. And it's this toasted sourdough and
Kind of whole grain, isn't it? Or something. I don't
I
know.
hope.
I'm not totally sure.
We're not going to ask. We're going to
don't ask.
assume.
And it's once again melted cheese.
Yeah.
And
So lots of cheese, lots of
There's a
bread.
theme here. I didn't know this.
Cheese and bread. We're really into that.
Yes. And just this spicy dressing. I don't even know what it is, but it's just the most delightful thing. And we park and we just sit looking at the mountains, eating our sandwiches before we embark on our adventure in the day.
Usually, and you did this week, when you can, you find these exquisite, extravagant places to go hiking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially here in Colorado. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We found some really amazing places. A reservoir last week. And I had an asthma attack. If you read my Instagram post, you'll know that I had an asthma attack half the way up the mountain and thought about, why am I doing this? I don't like to work out, but I pushed through and I'm so glad I did because the view was absolutely spectacular.
Oh, it was. Yeah. I think that's one of the best ways we keep ourselves alive here.
Oh, yeah.
Is, by rural is the wrong idea that I'm giving you, but we live in a small town. And it's between large towns, but there are a lot of
Right
national
up against
forests.
the mountains.
Yeah. Okay. So, another thing I just wanted to mention today is, Keelia, you and I were talking about this for a long time ago, but, tell us a little bit about Wallflower Journal. I just love the aesthetic. I love the ideas. I just admire it so much. And, it's kind of, to me, the same type of thing. I always loved Victoria Magazine because it was colorful, beautiful, inspiring, had articles and this and that and the other. But so you decided to make an online journal. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I just decided I really wanted to create a space for women to just feel encouraged and inspired to cultivate more beauty and meaning and purpose in their lives and find, kindred spirits and good advice in a world that is just so often filled with a lot of bad advice for young women. And so I wanted to create a space where women could come and find articles every single week that could maybe speak to something that they're going through or something that someone they know is going through. And so it's just been the most fun. I've had so many women send in these incredible articles and I've made friends through this, just meeting some of the women that are writing for me. And so it's just been a really, really wonderful experience.
And it's wallflowerjournal.com.
Yes, wallflowerjournal.com.
But it is, when you're flipping through your phone, meaninglessly and you're not looking at things, these are articles and beauty that, I just really admire. It makes you want to start, doing things all over again. Now I need to start a whole new business or ministry. But anyway, well, we all have so many things going today. We're all writers. We're all intuitive, so that's why we have great conversations too. But as you know, I have my membership, and this month in the membership, a lot of people have been telling me that lifewithsally.com is what it is. I created it because I wanted to have a place where I could further disciple people, give them ideas on education, this, that, and the other. And one of the things I've been doing in my series on scripture, it's funny to me how many people say that is their favorite thing, is what I teach in the Bible, which is as it should be, but it surprises me. But I've been going through the metaphors that Christ talked about, that he is the bread of life. And I think, he wanted so much to have his children have a picture or a story to understand. So he is the bread. He's the good shepherd. He's the light. He's the way. He's the door. And this month, as you can hear, those of you who are part of our membership, and we would love for you to join. It helps us support all the other ministry things that we're doing. But I'm in the midst of doing a Bible study on I am the water. He who thirsts, in his innermost being will flow streams of living water. And I've been talking with the kids about the fact that we have lots of issues always in our lives, whether it's financial or relational or whatever it is. And I've been realizing how much I depend on God being the living water in my life. Water. As I've been hearing in the UK a little bit. Water. Because, yes, I am thirsty. I am very thirsty in life. I need to drink from something that's going to satisfy me. And I've realized that I pray and pray and pray. I give God my fears, my thoughts, my anger. I leave it in the file drawer of heaven. I say, Holy Spirit, fill me with your thoughts and your wisdom today. And it's just been such an encouraging study for me. So you can read about that in the next rendition, the next version of our membership coming out really soon. And I just wanted to leave you, unless you all, this is a pressury thing. It's not really, you might or might not have something you've been learning or studying or whatever lately. I think one of the things that you all say keeps you going is you have this regular fellowship that you have with godly friends. And so you might even just mention what you do or whatever to give people ideas that they could just get together with friends and do something simple. I don't know.
Get together with friends and do something simple. That's the secret. Also, this is a little secret that is really only known to Clarksons. Food is a really great way to get people together. Offer a good meal and you're going to attract great people.
Yeah. The thing, you have this incredible podcast called
The Overthinkers.
The Overthinkers. And you have such great, you don't shy away from any subject.
No. Well, it's all inspired by, I grew up, both me and my host Joseph, we both grew up sitting around the table talking for hours with our families. And so now we're two guys in New York going, boy, I really would like to sit around and talk for hours. And so we met each other and we talked for hours and then said, let's start recording it. So we were both inspired by our family's conversations because it's such a deep part of our souls and experiences.
Yeah. Well, and it's how you really do understand spirituality, life, all these different things. But what I was going to say is that you decided to create a community and fellowship group with them. So every Thursday night, do you make meals or what do you do?
Yes, she does.
Yes, when I
she cooks.
I'm just the food girl.
You know the funny thing is, I rarely think of you as that.
But by the way, there are a lot of great recipes on Wallflower Journal.
That's true. That's true. I do put up a lot of recipes.
But yeah, she cooks for.
I didn't realize she does a lot more than just.
There are other things about my wife I can't really remember right now, but she's pretty good at food.
Anyway, Keelia is kind of the princess amongst all of these people who work on Nathan's podcast.
It's a big group of boys, and she handles them and feeds them well.
Yes.
So you all get together every Thursday. You have another friend that you go see every Friday. Yep. She gets to visit with her friends. Anyway, I think that the meeting of people is so important, the gathering of people. And that's what I try to do. Actually, we have a forum in our membership, but I love to gather people together. And I feel like these women and men, actually, we do have men that listen to my podcast. It's like a gathering of like-minded people. So anyway, all that to say, I didn't know if anything particularly besides food. If you've been learning anything that's on your mind. But I'm going to tell you one last thing for me, unless you have something.
You keep on saying that.
Let me just go to my verse.
There you go.
Okay. But I was reading this morning in my quiet time, and I thought, this is so simple, but it is so true. We talk all the time about how we feel like there's a lot of religion, and there's a lot of works, and there's a lot of people who are living by what they do. And when I was reading this verse this morning, I thought, this is it. He who has the Son has life. And, when I talk about the living waters, that it is Christ, his compassion, his stories, his integrity, his focus on forgiveness and on gentleness and on all these different things. I just feel like I have life because I have the Son.
Yeah.
And it's been really striking me lately. So I'll be talking about that a little bit more on my podcast about the streams of living water. But I thought I might just leave that verse with you, and then we will close in prayer. Do either one of you want to pray for these precious ones, or shall I?
I will.
Okay.
God, thank you so much for everyone listening out there. I pray that this conversation would lift their hearts and lift their days, and that it would also inspire them to go find other beautiful, life-giving conversations with people around them. I pray for safety and provision and goodness for everyone listening, and that you give us all wisdom and draw us closer to you so that we can be in a deeper relationship with you. We love you. In your name, amen.
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 I want to say one last thing. Actually, two last things. One is Keelia actually is an actress, a writer, and she is an opera singer. So in between cooking, she does.
Not a lot of time, but every now and again. No, but actually, you should pray for us if you think of it, because we are both have like 3 auditions this week for TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
So we would very much envy your prayers.
Yeah. I do. I would appreciate you praying for them, because they work hard, and during the pandemic, boy, has life been hard.
Yeah, especially for artists. I mean, especially for everyone.
Yeah.
But it was very difficult for artists.
It was also difficult for artists. So please pray for God to open doors. They have such a heart to encourage and inspire people. And then the second thing is, if you go onto my blog and sign up for it, you will love it, I'm sure. But anyway, we just put out a planner yesterday on life gifts, a discipleship plan, so that morning, noon, and night, every day, you can kind of have a grid for what it is you're trying to build into your children in order to lay a foundation of spirituality. So if you go to sallyclarkson.com, you can download the planner, and I will probably be speaking / teaching about this sometime next week. But I did want to tell you that my sweet friend Katie has helped me put together a beautiful planner based on the book, The Ministry of Motherhood. And I just think it's a good time in the summer to remake your plans. What am I doing? How am I shaping the hearts and souls and minds of my children? So be sure to look for the planner. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all for joining me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Now shall we go eat?
Yes, let's go eat.
Probably.
Okay.
Something cheesy and bready.
All right, my friends. Have a really great week. Bye-bye. I hope you've enjoyed our time together today, and that you'll join me next week. Be sure to look for more inspiration on my blog at sallyclarkson.com. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.